Welcome back to the New York Sports Exchange, episode number 167. And this is March.
It's here, baby.
We have a bracket. We're talking everything. Round of 64 to the national championship. Every real matchup, every hypothetical matchup that may be. We also talk about UNC somehow, some way getting into the tournament. I still don't get it.
Pretty big joke.
Pretty big joke.
You can't do anything about
the
it.
Corruption. It's making me love how much the entire country is hating on the school that I hate the most. It makes you feel like that you were on the trend a long, long time ago before everybody else was.
And now everyone's hopping on the wagon.
This was the America that my Irish immigrant grandparents were promised when they were traveling to this country. UNC being hated by all the other 50 really, because it's just there's so many basketball schools in North Carolina.
They don't even like them in North Carolina.
Oh, God, it's glorious. It's really great. We have Ethan Zaretsky of the Unstructured Podcast joining us. That last name may sound familiar. It's Jake's cousin. It's Jake and Avery's cousin. We might as well.
We got a good relationship with that family. We got a good relationship with that family.
We talk everything. This was a near 2-hour bracket preview, and I just can't wait to see it.
Ethan was fantastic. Ethan knows his ball. He's a
gem. He is a gem. Let's get to future content schedule. Tim and I have come up with a plan, and we're gonna ace it. It's
March. We don't have a choice. We gotta ace it.
We don't have a choice. Friday morning episode will be released. It'll be our thoughts after the games on Thursday. Only the games on Thursday. There will be a Saturday morning episode where we will recap all the Friday games, all the other Friday first round games. But wait, there's more. We're also going to have a Sunday morning episode as well, recapping the Saturday round of 32 games.
Yes.
We're going to hold for Tuesday, hopefully Tuesday or Wednesday for the Sunday round of 32 games. If you're looking for free agency news, Justin Fields to the Jets, Sam Darnold to the Seahawks. There's so much more.
There's a lot to talk about.
Geno to the Raiders.
DK
Metcalf to the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers still hasn't picked a place to go. If you're looking for baseball news, Garrett Cole's out for the year. Yankees are screwed.
Yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow.
Yankees are screwed. Garrett Cole's out for the year due to Tommy John surgery. All of that will be
Dodgers win opening day.
All of that will be on next week's episode, where I think we have an opening day preview, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe we do, yes. I know it kicked off, this morning.
This morning.
Which I will go on just a quick little rant. I absolutely hate how you could start the season while preseason is still going. That makes no sense to me, but whatever.
I completely agree. I completely agree with you. Week from Thursday, there will be opening day baseball. So maybe drop Wednesday and have Garrett NFL free agency and baseball, and then have the baseball preview, and then
I got some Yankees questions for you.
And then the round of 32 games. So if you're looking for all that stuff, that will be on Wednesday's episode. Wednesday's episode will be Garrett Cole, NFL free agency, MLB preview, Sunday round of 32 game recap. That'll be all that. Reminder, Friday morning, Saturday morning, Sunday morning, all March Madness games recap.
Content, baby. It's coming at you.
This, if you're thinking to yourself, this is like heaven for Stan,
you're right.
Absolutely 100%.
Yes.
It is heaven, absolute heaven for me, and I cannot wait to talk ball all month. I can't wait. I cannot wait. So without further ado, no outro. This is going to be the last you'll hear of us, just the two of us.
2 hours straight of college basketball.
God, we made it. We made it, guys. We made it. Enjoy it. Ethan Zaretsky of the Unstructured Podcast joins us. Hope you guys enjoy. All right. We made it. It feels like I've been talking about this nonstop for the past, how many months, Tim? 10, 11?
I think you started, I don't know, last June maybe? I don't know. You're really amping it up.
I think so. We would like to welcome on, from the Unstructured Podcast for our bracket special this season, Ethan Zaretsky. And if you think the last name is familiar, yes, it is. It's his cousin. It's Jake's cousin. Ethan, how's it going?
It's going great. It's the most wonderful time of the year that is not Christmas / Hanukkah / the winter holidays. It is March. It is March Madness. I'm happy to be here. Thank you guys for having me on. And yeah, let's get into this. I'm excited.
We're not gonna waste any time. Let's just start it out. Let's just get started right now. But first, let's start with not with the bracket, but start with some of the more shocking results, and more importantly, UNC getting in. This I didn't see coming. I was ready to start hating as soon as 6:30 hit on Saturday. I was like, you know what? Time to hate on UNC. Next thing you know, the first four matchup that was revealed, UNC taking on San Diego State. That's going to actually happen pretty soon. What did you think of it? Was it deserved? Was it undeserved? And how big of a role did Bubba Cunningham play in it? Just saying.
There's a lot of drama, Tim. I don't know if you know about all this.
I saw he's the athletic director of UNC and he's on the board. I mean, that's ridiculous. How does that even first allowed? That shouldn't be possible.
The excuse of, oh, well, I recused myself. Well, you recused yourself for those 20 minutes that you weren't in the room, and then you talked to them for breakfast, lunch, and dinner about UNC possibly making the tournament.
It just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. It's that to me is a joke.
Your thoughts, because my biased opinion clearly does not matter here.
Oh, I mean, he's going to be screaming all day about this.
If we take away the name and the logo, obviously UNC should not be in the tournament, in my opinion. Listen, other people think differently. Obviously, the Tar Heel fans want their team in the field of 68. I'm not very happy with UNC, but people need to, I guess, just drop it. Like, this is a team that can genuinely go on a run. Like, this team isn't bad at all. Yes, should they have made no, they should have not made the tournament. Like a team like Indiana should have made it, or West Virginia. But this is a team that is favored to beat San Diego State, and then could beat Ole Miss, and then they get hot, and then they're 11th seed UCLA like a couple years ago.
Yeah, but I guess it's just me getting PTSD from 2022, where it's like, UNC's not that great. And then, they're an 8th seed all of a sudden, and they go on this run and end Coach K's career. Top 1 worst day of my life, by the way. I just can't. I can't even fathom it. It's just disgusting.
Well, I mean, it shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have happened. Yeah, but you're a diehard Duke fan. You're gonna be here squirming about it all night because if they go on a run, that's your biggest nightmare.
Yeah, like that's actually why I'm kind of upset. Like if
I know they have nothing to lose at this point. But if they go on a run, then you have all to lose. So I don't know. I mean, they should be in it.
As long as Hubert Davis stays as the head coach of the University of North Carolina, I will sleep well at night. And he's extended until 2030 for God knows what reason. But thank God. Thank God. All right, let's get it started. The bracket underway. The 1 seeds, Auburn, Duke, Houston, Florida. Let's start off with the South region. I think this one goes, without being unsaid, Auburn is going to take down whoever they play. They actually played tonight, Alabama State and St. Francis. Actually have Alabama State winning that game by a pretty decent amount, in my opinion. Auburn, first round, going through round of 32. Yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
I think if I had to choose a 1 seed though, that was going to get knocked out in the first round, it would be Auburn.
Absolutely.
Especially if they play Alabama State,
agree.
Which I also agree that Alabama State will be beating St. Francis tonight.
But what does it happen twice that's happened twice in the history of brackets. So I don't
twice this century. Twice in the past.
What's the whole record? It's like 2 and
4 years.
It's I don't know. Nah, it's not
like
happening.
It's like 260 something to 2. So
yeah. And
I think I'm gonna go with the good odds here. I'm gonna take Auburn.
Our boy Tobin, he's been on the show before. He got canned for no fucking good reason.
Well, they're going I read the report, Stan. They're going the new NIL route. They can't keep up. You didn't fit the scheme for them. So that's so funny. We get Tobin Anderson on. He gets canned 2 years later.
No, it's horrible. The guy couldn't do anything wrong. They won like 8 out of their last 10, and he gets fired for that.
Yeah. I know. The report was ridiculous, though. They're like, we can't keep up with this NIL.
MAC teams acting like they're high majors is disgusting.
It's Iona had one. They had Rick Pitino, and they think they're on top of this world. But no, figure it out, Iona.
Anyway, that was another personal beef that I have with Iona University. All right, next up, Louisville, Creighton. This is the big one. This is the game that's gonna open up the Thursday games. What do we think? How do we feel? This is going to be a close matchup. Louisville's favored by 2.5. Ethan, let's start with you. Who you got here?
So when this matchup popped up on the TV, the second matchup on the screen, I was like, wow, get your popcorn ready. This is going to be cinema. We are so blessed to have this as a number one game after the BYU Duquesne game. It was a good game, but
yes.
BYU just got destroyed. But Creighton Louisville, the main topic of discussion in this game is that this game is being played in Kentucky.
Yes,
this
it
game
is.
is basically a home game for Louisville, but I do have Creighton in my bracket. We'll talk a little bit more about them once we get into the second round. But I watched Creighton in the Big East tournament. I was actually there when they almost lost to DePaul. I do like Creighton. I think they're gritty. I like their coach. I like Ryan Kalkbrenner. And if Stephen Ashworth gets hot, he's one of the best three-point shooters in the country. So give me Creighton over Louisville.
Okay. I do want to get to Louisville real quick. 8 seed?
Way too low.
What?
Way too low. They should be. I mean, they beat Clemson in the ACC tournament, and they're Clemson's 3-seed higher. So
I don't understand. And Louisville,
both of these teams are underseeded.
Well, I kind of get Creighton because they had like a slow start to the year and they sort of like found their way back up. But Louisville, outside of a horrible loss at home to Tennessee, who's a 2-seed in the tournament, by the way, they were stellar.
Yeah.
I don't understand. But anyway, I have Louisville advancing. I think that getting Rain Smith back is huge. He was out for the ACC tournament. They need his 3-point shooting against Duke in the tournament championship. Shot 7 of 27 from 3. They badly needed his 3-point shooting. And regardless if I like it or not, Chucky Hepburn is the ACC Defensive Player of the Year, and he is going to get that Stephen Ashworth assignment. I think that they're just going to let Kalkbrenner just get his down low and then kind of just hope and pray that Chucky does his job with Ashworth, because Neal and Green on Creighton, they haven't really been cutting it for me as of late. As of late, they haven't really been cutting it for me. But despite that, I feel like Louisville, their fans will be happy no matter what result, regardless. They're in the tournament for the first time in 6 years after they've been in purgatory for the last 2. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to roll with Louisville. I'm going to roll with the ACC team. Give me the Cardinals. Tim, what do you got?
What do you think I got here, Stan? I haven't seen either of these two teams play whatsoever. But you know what? My brother saw Creighton play the other night, and he said, they were pretty decent. So I'm going to go with my brother's scouting report there. They're going to take Creighton and move on.
Which game did he go to?
He just went to the whole,
he went to the whole thing?
Yeah. He just, I don't know. He didn't have work or some bullshit. And he was like, I got tickets. I'm going. I was like, okay.
Friday night Big East tournament's always a bucket list. I feel like that's like a must go if you're.
He was at the double overtime one.
Fan. Oh, the DePaul Creighton game.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, there you
go. I was sweating. I was hiding from the game. I had way too much riding on Creighton. That was one of the more sweatier games I was at. But it was a hell of a time. I definitely recommend it if you've never been.
All right. Next one. This is going to be a trend. This is going to be a trendy game. Michigan, UC San Diego. This is interesting because the thing that UC San Diego does so well is forcing turnovers. The thing that Michigan does not do well, especially their guards, forcing turnovers. So how are we feeling, Ethan? What do we think?
You want to go first on this one?
I don't know if I want to go first on this one. Let me hear what you got to say.
Listen, UC San Diego, probably one of the most popular 12 seeds being picked. Obviously, they have the shortest line of all the 5-12 matchups on the sports books. I like the point that you brought up, Danny, about the turnovers, how UC San Diego forces a lot of turnovers. Michigan gives the ball up a lot. But Michigan is a team where they ended the regular season really poorly, and they heated up during the Big Ten tournament. Michigan is historically a very good NCAA team. I'm not biting the cheese here with UC San Diego and the Tritons. Give me the Michigan Wolverines to advance to the next round.
Okay. I lost sleep over this game, and I'm going to be saying that a lot. I've been losing sleep over a lot of these games. I took UC San Diego. I can see any result happening, really. First year of eligibility for UC San Diego. They've been D1 since 2021. First year of actually being tournament eligible. Here they are. I'm going to butcher that New Zealand kid's name. Aniwanaiwa Tate Jones. I know Tate Jones.
Close enough.
He's the most efficient player in college basketball right now. They have a guard, Hayden Gray, plays great defense and could force those turnovers on guys like Donaldson and Burnett and Gale. I'm gonna roll with, I know it's a trendy pick and I try to stay avoid from the trendy pick, but be able to realize this. They are a second half team. There were plenty of games during their conference tournament where they were down in the first half and able to break out to that big lead. So if Michigan's out on that, breaks it up like 7 or 8 going into halftime, watch out. But I'm gonna roll with UC San Diego.
Yeah, I really, I'm be honest with you, I really wish I had something for you here, but I'm going to take Michigan. I really wish I watched more college basketball this year. Really wish I did.
You have just as much of a chance to get your pick right than either of us do.
That's my thinking about when I made my bracket earlier, because I actually wrote down my bracket. It's probably the first time I've done that in maybe ever, and I put it on my wall. My roommates are doing it. Yeah, I got that same thing out there. It's just a gut pick.
I bought
I know that whiteboard
bracket. Yep,
that's the way to do it.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Next game.
Oh, well, wait, actually, real quick though, I just want to ask. Because you said they're in 2020. So what's that eligibility rule? You can't be in the tournament for the first.
Ethan can say it. Yes.
So once you enter the Division 1, by the way, UC San Diego Division 3. They weren't even Division 2. They went from Division 3 right to Division 1. Yeah. So you have it's 4 years, right? So you have to wait 4 years. So even if you win your conference, for example, in the Summit League, St. Thomas, the Tommies, were playing against Nebraska Omaha in the final, and even if St. Thomas won and beat Omaha, is a guaranteed bid, win or lose in the championship. It's a weird rule, but listen, it what do I want to say? It basically eliminates teams going from D2, D3 back to D1. You stick to D1 and you grind it out, just like UC San Diego did. Congratulations to them, but I just don't think they have what it takes to defeat the 2 7-footers on the court in Vlad Golden and Danny Wolf.
And one of them, Wolf's basically a point guard.
Exactly.
At this point, he's basically a point guard.
They're studs. As much as I'm a Penn State fan. Michigan, like I said, they heated up during the Big Ten tournament, and that's all you need.
Yeah. Next game, another trendy upset game. Texas A&M taking on the champion of the Ivies for the second straight year, the Yale Bulldogs. Tim, let's start with you. Who did you take?
I took A&M, obviously. Actually, why I took A&M is because of Johnny Manziel. Johnny football still runs deep for me, so I had A&M picked. It was a real easy lock for me, to be honest with you. I have them moving on.
Okay.
I watched one Yale hockey game this year. That's the one winter sport I saw, and they lost, so I'm just going to keep rolling with that.
Thank God he loves hockey, huh?
Yep. Yeah. Gotta love hockey.
Ethan, who you got here?
So this one, I've actually watched quite a bit of Yale basketball, something that I don't do, I haven't done in previous years. I watched them throughout the Ivy League tournament. I put them in a couple money line parlays. I like their team. I think that this is a team where they're going to be able to hang in with Texas A&M, but ultimately, I think that their size and their shooting ability, if they're catching fire, they had a rough end to their conference tournament. I just don't think Yale has enough. I could be wrong. They won the past 2 first games in the last 2 years in the NCAA tournament, but give me Texas A&M. I'm comfortable with this one.
I'm going to roll with A&M as well. A&M has beaten great competition. They beat Purdue. They beat Auburn. I get that they're horrible offensively, and they're going to be a trendy pick to lose, but I just think with Yale, it's hard to beat 2 SEC teams, especially when you're a team in the Ivies. It's very hard to beat two SEC teams 2 straight years in the tournament. And plus, there were a lot of games in the Ivy League tournament where it got very scary for Yale, and they may not have won. So I'm going to roll with the Aggies. I hate this whole region. Like that's kind of where I'm at with this whole region. This is like the one region that I was losing sleep over, but I will not be losing sleep over the Texas A&M Aggies. All right, next game. We got did I close out the bracket on accident? No, I didn't. Depending on the winner of the San Diego State UNC game, they will be taking on Ole Miss. I went under the assumption that UNC would win tonight to take on Ole Miss, and I'm taking Ole Miss as well. I feel like this region, and especially the bubble that Ole Miss is in, it's tailor-made for a guy like Chris Beard. Because I feel like when he was at Texas Tech, they were more focused on defense, and I understand they had a top 5 NBA prospect in Jarrett Culver. I understand that. Malik D is probably one of the best big men in the SEC, let alone the country. Sean Padula, who I thought was terrible at Virginia Tech, if you ask me, and only just got hot in the ACC tournament against Duke a couple years ago. He's actually been, I know he's been cold as of late, but when he gets hot, look out. He's going to be one of the best guards in the tournament. I don't know. I'm rocking with my guy, Chris Beard. I just think that when he's cooking, I'm glad to see him back in the tournament too, after, that's hell of a stint with Texas. I mean that sarcastically, but I'm glad to see him back in the tournament. I'm rolling with the running Rebs of Ole Miss.
So this 11 play-in matchup, unlike the Texas Xavier matchup, which we'll get to in a bit, I think that the winner of this game is very indicative of who I'll pick in my bracket. Right now, I'm under the assumption that UNC will beat San Diego State just based off of the betting market. But if San Diego State does pull off the upset against North Carolina, I do think that Ole Miss will beat San Diego State because I don't believe that the Aztecs will be able to, have that high-paced game twice in just a couple days. So right now I have UNC. I think UNC, like I said earlier when we were discussing if they should even be in the tournament or not, yes. I think that if they were able to beat the Aztecs tonight when this video is being filmed, they will have some momentum going into this Ole Miss game, and they'll be able to take down the Ole Miss Rebels. So give me UNC, but if San Diego State wins, give me Ole Miss.
Okay, Tim.
Yeah, Stan knows I got burned by San Diego State. What was that, 2 years ago?
2 years ago, yes.
Oh,
he faded them all tournament.
The whole tournament. I faded all the way to the end. I mean, I bet against them every single game. So I'm going to keep that train rolling. Don't like them. And with Stan's hatred of UNC, that leaves me with one team and one team only. I'm going to go with Ole Miss moving on here. So there we go. That's my logic for this one.
I like it.
All right. Next up, Iowa State taking on Lipscomb. Big news for Iowa State. Keyshawn Gilbert out for the rest of the year. Definitely a very productive player for them. Ethan, who you got?
So I'll go back to my Ole Miss, UNC, San Diego State trifecta there. I think none of those teams compare to Iowa State. I've watched Iowa State all throughout conference play. I think they're one of the more dominant teams, even without Keyshawn Gilbert. Well, go ahead.
I completely forgot to mention. I said that this region's tailor-made for Chris Beard when they have to play them.
So I think whoever comes out of the Ole Miss, San Diego State, UNC trifecta, I don't think any of those teams, except for UNC, maybe if they beat those two games and get some momentum, will be able to beat the Cyclones of Iowa State. So give me Iowa State. A little hint at them advancing to the Sweet 16, but I like Iowa State over Lipscomb. I've watched some Lipscomb games. They had home court advantage in their conference tournament, which propelled them into the NCAA tournament. I just think that their luck is run out, so give me the Cyclones.
Yeah, the thing with Lipscomb, they won't wow you athletically, and they've played a lot of high major teams, and it did not end well. I feel like if they just play a team, they were unfortunately unlucky and drew a team that's very focused on defense. So they're going to be I feel like they're going to be very overwhelmed this game. As I mentioned before, I'm rolling with the Cyclones. Tim. You've always been. Recent history, if I remember correctly, you've always been an Iowa State guy.
I have, Stan. I have, and that might change now. I've never even heard of this school, Lipscomb, before, and for me, that gives me a little bit of an edge for them. They're playing loose. They're playing with absolutely nothing to lose. And you know what? Iowa State's one of those teams where, I was always big on them. They never got the job done for me in the bracket, and I always had them going deep. So I think this is the year where I'm taking that upset.
Ooh.
And I think that free, loose play from Lipscomb's going to get the job done. I have never. Where is this team even out of? I've never even heard of this.
They're in Nashville.
Never heard of this. Let's go. Let's go Lipscomb. What's their mascot?
They're out of Nashville. I actually do not know.
I should know.
But
I believe
you don't know. Exactly. You don't know. That's a good sign for me. They're really playing loose then.
The Bison.
I know they're out of Nashville.
The
Bison's got no expectations. I'm going with Lipscomb.
Lipscomb. I can't speak. Lipscomb Bisons. Next up, Marquette in New Mexico. 7-10 game. Tim. How are we feeling? What do we think?
I picked Marquette. I picked Marquette just because of the name. Something about them. I always see them, rolling around as a good program. That name lingered with me, so I got Marquette moving on.
The thing with this Marquette team, I know it was a very weak year under Marquette standards. The guard play is really going to be phenomenal in this game. Cam Jones versus Donovan Dent is going to be fucking incredible to watch. And honestly, a lot of people are losing sleep over this game. The thing with Marquette, they don't have the post players. I feel like in order to win this tournament, you need a.
Yeah, doesn't Florida got a 7'9" guy?
Yeah, well, he's redshirted. But besides the fact,
they got a 7'1" dude too, don't they?
They do. Yeah, they have a lot of 7-foot guys. I know, but we'll get to Florida. I just think that they just don't have the post players. And the thing with New Mexico, they started out hot. Everyone's been kind of riding with them all year. My thing with New Mexico, I just don't believe that they're a second weekend team. Donovan Dent, great. I feel like last year was the year for them to really go on a run because they had all those guys. They had Mashburn. They also had Donovan Dent. They had what's his name, the other Suns kid, House, right?
Great House, maybe.
I forget who it was.
I'm lost.
I'm
that was
dropping
your
it.
tangent.
I know that was my tangent, but I'm blanking on the name. I just don't.
Sorry, I couldn't help. Sorry, I couldn't help you.
It's okay.
I'm really no help.
And especially now, there's buzz towards Richard Pitino taking a job elsewhere. He's been a big name during the carousel. I just think that Marquette takes this win. Do I expect Marquette to make noise? Not necessarily, but I'm just gonna roll with Marquette. Ethan, who do you have here?
Donovan Dent.
Okay.
Give me the Lobos of New Mexico State. I'm not high on Shaka Smart and Marquette.
Ooh.
I really like New Mexico. Another matchup where whoever wins, I think Michigan State takes care of them. But I like New Mexico. They're a fun team, and if Donovan Dent's shooting the ball the way that we all know he can, Marquette's got no shot. I'm just going to say a bold prediction. Marquette is going. This could be an unexpected blowout in the first round.
Okay, I like it. Last one, Michigan State Bryant. This has been.
I mean, surprisingly,
it's been a very trendy.
Even I know it's Michigan State. Even I know this is a wash.
Surprisingly, this is a very trendy 215 pick, but in my opinion, I don't think it should be. So let's stick with this region, see how far we go here.
I like that.
I have Auburn and Louisville. Ethan, you have Auburn and Creighton. Tim, you have Auburn and Creighton as well. Let's start with the two Auburn-Creighton people. What do we think? Ethan, you start.
I have Creighton, Danny.
Ooh!
I have the Creighton Blue Jays beating the Auburn Tigers. Like I said, I saw Creighton in person. It might be a little bit biased. I know a lot about Creighton. I said I like their big men. I like Ryan Kalkbrenner. And like I said, if Stephen Ashworth is shooting the ball that we know he can, he's one of the best guards in the country. They have experience. They've been to the tournament before, had some absolutely heartbreaking losses. I'm just remembering that San Diego State. I'm sure you had Creighton, Tim.
I did. I know the game you're talking about.
I think I had Creighton as well. That was hard.
You're the one who told me to take Creighton, Stan.
Bad call at the end. This is going to be a phenomenal matchup. I really like this top half of the bracket with Michigan, Texas A&M, Auburn, Creighton, Louisville. Those teams. I think that's more exciting than the bottom half.
Yeah.
Give me some magic. Give me the Creighton Blue Jays to advance to the second weekend.
Okay. Tim, who are you rolling with?
I went by the number. I saw the one. I picked Auburn. I got Auburn moving on.
Okay. I went with Auburn as well. Okay. Louisville's a great story, but I just think that the size is just going to be way too much for them. And plus, I think Pettiford is the better guard on the floor, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to roll with Auburn there. Tim, you had Michigan?
I did.
Okay. Another 2-for-1. You both had Michigan. I had UC San Diego taking on A&M. I'll start with me. I'm going to roll with A&M. I just think that these are two very defensive-minded coaches, and I feel like the better defensive-minded coach is going to win this one. Buzz Williams, probably one of the more underrated coaches in America. I feel like he doesn't get enough love.
I agree. That's why I picked him as well. Danny. I got the Aggies as well.
All right.
Yeah.
Tim.
Mansell Magic, baby. It never ends. It's still going.
Mansell Magic. Yeah, Money Mansell. Ole Miss, Iowa State. I have. Tim, you have that as well. Ethan, you have UNC.
Yes.
What are you thinking?
I said it earlier. I'm going with Iowa State. I think
Okay,
that little trifecta with the playing games and Ole Miss, there's gonna be a lot of drama there. I like the Cyclones. Give me Iowa State. I also have a future on them at 22-1 to win the whole thing. So
okay.
could be a little biased there.
I was starting to get that. I was starting to get the little inclination. You're really high.
Starting to get that little.
No, I do seriously like Iowa State. I think they're a lockdown defensive team. Just get you into gritty games. And Ole Miss, San Diego State, and North Carolina. I just can't see them competing with Iowa State.
Do you think that the Keyshawn Gilbert injury means much?
I do think it's going to affect them as it gets into the second weekend. We'll get a bit more into that after this.
Okay. Then last but not least, you have New Mexico, Michigan State. Ethan, Tim, and I both have Marquette. I have Michigan State winning. I just think that Izzo's just going to focus more on the inside. And
it's Tom Izzo and March.
I'll just leave it at that.
Even I know that.
I mean, I'm not.
You never know.
Izzo's kind of grown on me.
It's his own March, Stan. Come on.
I know, but one national championship in the 20th century does not make you own March.
Yeah,
he's kind of he's grown on me this year, especially.
I guess to the Yankees. That was a slight. I didn't mean to do
Please
that.
We're talking basketball here. There's no pride for a Yankee stray
I just slight you in there a little bit.
Tim, you have Michigan State.
Yes, I do.
Ethan, New Mexico, Michigan State in your round of 32. Who are you taking?
I got the Spartans. January, February, Izzo. And by the way, we have tip-off in Dayton. We have
we do.
The St. Francis and versus well, you might be able to go in and grab the Hornets of Alabama State because they're down right now at the first media timeout.
Are they actually?
They are.
No
so you
shit.
might be able to get like a 1.5 minus 150 kind of line.
They are. I'll take the money line. I'll take the money line at 136. Why not?
Oh,
by the way, if you have
bad luck charm right there.
If you have a problem gambling, 1-800-GAMBLER. By the way,
yes.
I know you sneaking that in.
We used to do gambling videos, and to end them, my tagline was always, "It's not an addiction if you're winning."
Stan, we weren't great, dude.
There was a good run where I was like, I was on a heater.
Kilk was telling you
early.
It was like 10 days. You were on like a 10-day heater. I remember Kilk texted me. He's like, "Is Stan really that good at this?" And I was like, "I don't know, man. He's doing a pretty good job right now."
I was just bored for this shit, I guess. Hang on, let me put my Alabama State let me put my Alabama State money in there. Next up, Elite 8.
Sweet 16.
Oh, Sweet 16, sorry. Or no, we have Sweet 16, sorry. Let's start with the bottom half. I have Iowa State, Michigan State. I believe all of us have Iowa State, Michigan State. Are we all going with Iowa State?
No. But that's again, I'm not the guy to be like, pick your bets off me. I'm throwing a dart into a dark field right now. But
okay,
I have Izzo and March.
I'm kind of shocked here. I'm gonna take Iowa State. I know the Gilbert injury is a big issue. I saw the trend where a team that starts the year unranked and is a top or ends the year ranked, starts the season unranked, ends the year ranked, and are a top 2 seed, I believe. I believe that I remember reading something along the lines of that. They do not make it to the Final Four. Michigan State falls under that criteria. I just think that this Iowa State team, they just grind out wins, and they're gonna kill you. No, I don't mean that in like a necessarily
in GTA. In
GTA, yes.
We know you don't mean they're literally gonna kill them.
I know. I don't mean like they're gonna blow them out, but they're just gonna gas them. It's just gonna be. I don't really think Michigan State has kind of played a team like that, and we could say UCLA. But that team is just not. That's just not good. And I think they even lost to them. Michigan State lost to UCLA in the regular season. So how I think they're going to do against Iowa State, I think it's going to be the same result. I have Iowa State going to the Elite 8.
I think this is when Keyshawn Gilbert's absence becomes a real struggle. Like I said, in the second weekend, Michigan State, man, if they could beat Bryant, which, by the way, do not let Bryant fly under the radar. They have been playing very good basketball. They were on home court. They were on home court similar to Lipscomb, but if Izzo's getting hot, they are going to just score on Iowa State. and make it to the Elite Eight.
Okay. Tim?
A little bit of a rhyme there, by the way. I don't know if you guys caught
your
that.
reasoning is it's Tom Izzo in March?
I got no other reasoning than it's Tom Izzo.
There it is. There it is. Let's go to the top half. Auburn, Texas A&M. For me, Ethan, you have Creighton and A&M. Tim, you have Auburn and A&M. I've been particularly losing sleep over this one just because they've played each other so many times, and I have Auburn in here, but I'm taking A&M. I'm pulling the reverse. I'm going to take A&M. Auburn's losing the Sweet 16. These two teams played each other before, twice, I believe. They played each other twice, I think. I don't know that for certain, but the one time I did see them play in Aggie Land, it did not go well for Auburn. Led to a court storm. So I think the same process goes here. That defense, they're gonna have, and we know how this Auburn team gets under pressure. We've seen that, and I just think that this A&M team, Buzz Williams is finally going to get the credit that he deserves, going past the Sweet 16. Furthest he would go since Virginia Tech in 2019, if I'm not mistaken.
You know your stuff, Danny. But unfortunately, the Creighton Blue Jays they might be a team of destiny. I have them advancing to the Elite Eight, and I have them beating the Texas A&M Aggies in a hypothetical matchup, which obviously may or may not happen. But I think that the topmost half, Auburn, Creighton, Louisville, I think
yes,
any of those three teams will beat the likes of Michigan or Texas A&M. So give me those strong three up top to make it to the Elite Eight and face against either Iowa State or Michigan State.
All right, Tim. What do you have?
Coolest college football team in Texas, baby. A&M's moving on.
You weren't a Vince Young guy back in the day? I'm shocked.
I was not, Stan.
I'm shocked. I'm amazed. Elite Eight, A&M, Iowa State, Creighton, Michigan State, Creighton, Michigan State. The two Creighton guys. Sorry.
I'm with you.
You have A&M.
Sorry, A&M.
Michigan
Jesus,
State.
It's been hard to keep. I should have wrote this down. I'm a dummy for not writing everything down.
So we all have Michigan State.
Yes,
in the Elite Eight.
Nope, I have
Iowa State. Iowa State. That's right.
I have Iowa State, A&M.
All right. So what do we got?
I got Iowa State. I have Iowa State being my first Final Four team. I feel like with the Big 12, it's just you grind out wins and you just find a way to win. They don't care how. They don't really care what the reason is. They just grind out. Like, I remember Houston was playing at Arizona. They were down for the majority of the game. And by the 8-minute mark in the second half, Houston's defense was just like, okay, you're not scoring. You're not scoring at all. Big 12 teams are just able to just push that button where it's just like, you're done. And I just have a feeling that Iowa State is able to do that, especially the guard play in this hypothetical matchup. I hate to sound like an SEC fan with an SEC team in this, but the hypothetical of guard play in this matchup of Taylor and Obaseki possibly going up against Lipsy and Curtis Jones, it's gonna be a great thing to see. I just think that Lipsy and Curtis Jones are the better guards, and I'm just gonna roll with Iowa State here.
Well, I hope that's the case for my future because that would give me some life and some opportunity to hedge. Yes. But I do have Sparty in the Final Four. Give me Izzo over Creighton. This game is a coin flip, in my opinion. Probably would be a 3-point swing, a 3-point. I should say Michigan State would probably be favored by around 3, 4, 5 points against Creighton. So I'll take my chances with Izzo in the Elite Eight. Give me Michigan State to go to San Antonio.
Okay. Let's go to the West region. Let's just get it started right away. Florida, Norfolk State. Get them out.
Norfolk State peaked when they had that crazy dunk.
I don't
even know when that was.
When they had Kyle O'Quinn.
That's how you know they have no shot. I don't even know when that was.
They had Kyle O'Quinn, right? Didn't they beat Mizzou? Sure. Mizzou was a 2 seed.
It's a more recent game.
And this is exactly. This is all we need to say. We have no idea about anything. This team's so bad we don't even know. So
Florida's one of the best teams in the country right now. No shot they lose, right?
They are red.
Make it 3 and 200 and something.
Tim's picking Florida because of Tebow.
No.
At this point,
Aaron Hernandez was a hell of an athlete in Florida.
You might as well stick with it.
At
That
this point,
whole
yes.
jail team.
Let's go to the 8-9 game. UConn, the defending back-to-back national champions, took a hefty step back as an 8 seed. They'll be taking on the 9th-seeded 6 SEC win Oklahoma Sooners. UConn dominating. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Their head coach could stop bitching.
Anything that's there's that. And like the fact that that's even a factor too, where it's like, oh, Danny Hurley isn't crying like a bitch. Like that might be.
I don't know any other head coach that cries like that, and I don't know anything about college basketball. That guy's a fucking pussy.
What's his name that used to coach UNLV? Tarkanian.
Yeah.
He coached that like Larry Johnson team. He used to bite on a towel whenever shit got stressful. He used to like bite on it, wear it over his shoulder like John Thompson would. God, he's missed. Connecticut it's just gonna be and it sets up for probably the best round of 32 match. One of the best round of 32 matchups between Florida and UConn. Next up, Memphis, Colorado State, the 5-12 game. Colorado State favored as a 12 seed, and let's all be honest here. I think Colorado State is the hottest team going into this tournament. Nick Clifford. They were playing Boise State a couple last week of the regular season.
No, I thought you were referencing. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I thought you were referencing the Mountain West Championship game where they absolutely dismantled them.
Yes. Well, they played them not earlier, but last week of the regular season. Nick Clifford could not miss, and that, I don't know. And Memphis, I'm not really a big believer on them. I kind of never been. Ever since that they had that like hyped up recruiting class with Wiseman, and I'm forgetting what the other guy's name was. They brought in Boogie Ellis, who was originally committed to Duke and then left because Trey Jones came back. But my bracket says Memphis just because Colorado State is a trendy pick. But I feel like it's going to come down to coaching, and Nico Medved is a hell of a better coach than Penny Hardaway. So I'm going to roll with Colorado State pulling off the upset. Ethan, what do you got here?
In all of my years of doing this, guys, I've never seen a 12 seed favored over a 5 seed.
Yeah, that's insane.
I looked back the past 4 years. I couldn't find data before COVID, but in the last 3 tournaments, pre-COVID data, no 12 seed has ever been favored over a 5 seed. I just think that's very telling. Yes, Colorado State is hot. Memphis does scare me, though. They do have the ability to shut down a team like Colorado State with Dane Danger in the paint. I like PJ Haggerty, but give me Colorado State and the Rams.
Okay, Tim.
I
feel like this is your kind of matchup.
I mean, every time
I don't know why, I just feel like it is.
Every time I see Memphis in the newsstand, it's always something awful. Like, there's never anything good coming out of that school. So I just, in my only experience with them has been negative. So I'm just going to take Colorado State here. Although, did Amoni Bates stop by there at some point? I don't know.
That's who I was thinking of. Thank you.
Cavs legend.
Cavs legend. Yeah, I told you.
Averages 22 in the G League, man.
Only the Cavs are going to be brought up here at some point. Next up, the Crab 5, Maryland taking on Grand Canyon. Woo, this team's fun to watch, man. This team's fun. Kevin Willard just got a new extension. Could have brought Seton Hall to a Final Four, and that I think that was said during the selection show, and I think the heart of every Seton Hall fan kind of just like tore in half. Shout out Nick Rucker, my boy at Seton Hall.
Shout out Seton Hall women's basketball.
Yes, he's a manager for the women's team as well. They'll be taking on Grand Canyon. Ethan, what do you got?
I got the Crab 5, Danny.
There we go.
I love Maryland. I think that this is one of the sneakier teams, and if any team is going to stop the Gators wagon, it's going to be Maryland. I really like this team. It was demoralizing watching Michigan beat them on a last-second layup in the Big Ten Championship. Just a heartbreaker, but those kinds of moments are what brings teams like Maryland over the edge, and Derek Queen is a monster. Grand Canyon's a fun team, but they really thrive off the home court. They're fun. This will probably be a shoot.
I'll give it to them. The fan base travels well for a mid-major, but
this will be a high-scoring game. I think Maryland's going to get their way, behind the arc and inside the paint. So give me Maryland. They'll probably cover this line too. Let me check and see what that line is. Do they play on Monday? I should probably be more prepared when I'm going to bring up a spread. Maryland is favored by 12. Give me Maryland on the point. Give me Maryland with the points there.
Okay. Tim, who I believe I'm gonna guess you're taking Maryland as well.
Yeah, shout out Matty G, taking Maryland here.
There we go. See,
my boy went there, so there you go.
Shout out the Crab Five. It's just like the front court is just ridiculous. The front court, best front court and back court in the country, if you ask me. Like,
whenever there's a team that has a nickname, just advance. Just click them to advance.
Just click them.
Fine with me. Stan, real quick, shout out Mr. Staker. Big Maryland guy.
Our middle school social studies teacher. Shout out that guy. Haven't heard that name in a while.
Aileen's cousin.
Get the fuck out.
You wouldn't believe it, would you?
Wow, we just found that out. I'd love that I found that out on air. Next up, another big trendy upset pick. Missouri against Ben McCollum and the Drake Bulldogs. Tim, I'm intrigued.
Yeah, let me start.
Who you're taking here?
Of course, I'm taking those D2 boys and Drake. If there's one team that I know anything about college basketball, it's Drake. And those D2 boys with that new head coach, he brought that team over. They are cooking, and I'm taking them because that's a team with a chip on their shoulder. I think they can go deep.
Yeah. I said it all year last year because I loved him. I kept on saying, love the Drake, love the Drake, love the Drake. Seinfeld reference for those that don't know. I had him going to the Sweet 16, and they got knocked out first round by Washington State. And this matchup is going to be a very tortoise and hare-like matchup. Drake likes to slow the tempo down. Missouri likes to play at a very fast pace. I think the tortoise is going to take this matchup. I think Drake will be moving on to the round of 32. Love the Drake.
On my show, the Unstructured Podcast. Shout out my co-host Juwan. I said I make my bracket once I see the matchups on the selection show screen. I went to bed, my bracket was done a Sunday night, and I woke up on Monday morning, and I changed one game, and it was this game. I had the Drake Bulldogs at first, and now I have switched and changed my mind to the Mizzou Tigers. This one might bite me in the butt, but again, like I said in the South region, neither of these teams will beat Texas Tech. So give me Mizzou, but they will lose in during the weekend in the round of 32.
Okay. Speaking of Texas Tech, they'll be taking on UNC Wilmington. Shout out Terrence, old co.
Yeah, you taking a little fan favorite pick here, Stan?
We know a lot of people from a lot of different places, and UNC Wilmington is somehow one of them. I'll start a little nugget that I saw on neutral site floors this season. Texas Tech is 0-4 against the number. I do think that they win, but it may be closer than people think. Siddle, their coach, Takeo Siddle. Hopefully I'm not butchering that first name. He is, from what I've been hearing, he's been looking for a high major job. He's probably going to be coaching for that salary raise, and do I blame him? Absolutely not. So there may be a fire under the Seahawks team, but I just think that Texas Tech's going to be too much. That guard plays ridiculous.
I agree, though. The 16 points is way too much for this game.
Oh, yeah.
Way too many. Oh, yeah. UNC can score. Texas Tech is big, but UNC Wilmington will probably have their way. I want to say they either start the game hot and are leading and are able to do enough to cover the number, or they'll be down and make a comeback and end up covering the number, opening the back door against Texas Tech. This is probably one of my favorite spreads of the weekend, one of the bigger numbers. So, yeah, I like UNC Wilmington to cover, but give me the Texas Tech Red Raiders to advance to the next round.
All right, Tim?
I didn't even know UNC Wilmington had a basketball team. Kind of crazy. Kind of finding these things out on the fly here. So, yeah, no, Texas Tech's moving on.
My favorite part about this, I texted Terrence. I was like, "Congrats! Like, enjoy Takeo Siddle now." And he was like, "I had no idea that we even won, and I had no idea that we even made the tournament." I was like, "Oh wow, that's great." Next up, probably the best quadrant of any quadrant in this tournament. Start off with a big one: Kansas, Arkansas. This is going to be awesome. Like this is going to, and the fact that it's in Providence too, that it's like. Patino used to coach there. There's like some sentimental value there. I love it. Alabama State making a comeback right now. Tim, let's get it started with you since you know these coaches so well. Bill Self, John Calipari. Two of the best. I mean, you got to know two of the best.
No,
of all
I
time.
know. Yeah, no. I actually, if you're gonna ask me one game that I sat and thought of when I was making my bracket, this was definitely one of them. I do have Kansas moving on, just purely off of biasy from recent history. You know, they've been a powerhouse team for years, so I do have Kansas moving on. But yeah, I wish I knew more about Arkansas or Kansas, but I'm gonna give Kansas the edge here.
Okay, Ethan, what are you thinking? What do you got?
I love this matchup. Obviously the coaching, and this is just going to be a great game. 7:10 Eastern Standard Time on Thursday. It's just basically prime time. It's Kansas versus Arkansas. I like that. I like that those matched up. I have been on the Kansas train, trying to ignore the fact that they have not been playing to their AP preseason number 1 ranking. For if either of you guys knew that they were the number 1 team coming into this year.
Now I do.
I really like Hunter Dickinson and Zeke Mayo. That combination is very reminiscent of Creighton Creighton.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No,
I was just gonna say, you like that guy?
I do. I like Hunter Dickinson. I like Zeke Mayo. They're very reminiscent of Creighton with Kalkbrenner and Ashworth.
Yes.
I like Kansas. The number is very telling for me. If this number was closer to 3 and 2, I would have a very hard time, like you say, Danny, lose sleep over this matchup. But give me the Kansas Jayhawks. I think that they're underseeded from where they should be. I think they should be more of a 3-4 seed. So yeah, I like John Calipari. I like what he's done with Arkansas, but give me the Jayhawks.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with Kansas as well. I know how I mentioned how much I hate Hunter Dickinson. I think Kansas wins this game with defense and experience. Hunter Dickinson, been there. DeJuan Harris, been there. KJ Adams, been there. A lot of these guys have been there for Kansas. For Arkansas, I feel like the only guy that's been there for them was John L. Davis when he was at FAU going to the Final Four. So it sucks, but I'm just gonna roll. I'm gonna roll with Kansas here. They're gonna win this game with experience, and we'll see what happens. And then the 2-15 game, I'll say Omaha is the best. I'll give that. It's not gonna happen. Omaha is the best 15 seed out of the 4.
I disagree.
Okay.
I think it's Bryant. I think Bryant is the best 15 seed.
But I'm not going to waste my time arguing about which 15 seed's better.
Best story for a 15 seed? Omaha by a million. I mean, they bang trash cans when they win.
They started, Tim, if you didn't know this, they started out the year slow, and then they were able to build a winning streak after their coach started banging on a garbage can in the locker room when they win games. Was it with a baseball bat or was it just with the hand?
They all jump and they act like it's a beer pong table and they kind of shoulder into it. And
they do the Macho Man elbow.
And when they won their conference tournament, I was talking about that game when they played against St. Thomas. They had it's either the mayor of Omaha came out of the trash can with a championship belt. The story's great. But St. John's, Omaha doesn't score 50 points in this game. They're going to be in a blender. I'm definitely taking Omaha team total under against St. John's. They're playing in Providence. And if you don't know this, Rick Pitino used to coach at Providence. They actually brought them to the Final Four back when he was coaching there. This is just going to be reminiscent for Rick Pitino. They're going to be locked down on Omaha. So give me St. John's.
All right. These matchups are fun. I'm just getting giddy over all these.
I like this region a lot. I love it. I feel the same way. This is probably they called this the region of death on CBS.
Yes, this is Florida, UConn. This is going to be incredible. I believe this game will be in Raleigh.
I do not see that on my bracket, but I am not going to say that you're right or wrong.
Okay.
Neither am I.
Well, actually, no, it's the West, so it's probably Seattle, Washington, Colorado, that area.
Okay. I'm trying to.
I know that Florida plays in Spokane against Norfolk State, so potentially.
So it's probably
Washington.
In Spokane.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's probably going to be in Spokane. Florida, UConn, Ethan. I cannot wait to pick your brain for this game. So have at it.
I think Florida's just way too much.
Okay.
I think this is when the college basketball gods and the higher ups shun Dan Hurley and UConn. I think they probably, other than Creighton that have upsetting Auburn, they probably have the best shot to beat a 1 seed compared to my other 9 and 8 seeds that I have. But Yeah, I just think Florida's playing too dominant right now. I think they take care of UConn no problem.
Yeah. Tim, who do you have here?
Listen, if your coach is crying about some tournament back-to-back to start the year, your team's already on bad mojo. So if you got a shitty leader and the ship's going down, so I'm taking Florida to move on.
Yeah, I'm going with Florida too. I mean,
what team with a bad head coach, Stan, with a bad attitude has ever won anything? Let's be honest here.
Dan Hurley the last 2 years. What?
Dan Hurley the last 2 years.
Yeah, well.
Like, come on.
Seem to develop this attitude this year. Now, what are they, an 8 seed, 9 seed?
Yeah. I think it's gonna come down to big man play. I think that the size of Florida is gonna be too much. It's gonna be way too much for Samson Johnson, who always finds himself in foul trouble. And UConn kind of lacks that big man depth. It's gonna come down to that. And I think Clayton's gonna be the best guard on the floor, especially with Caravan with that drop off that he had. My God, what happened there?
And I'm not a fan of solo ball either. His game just does not appease me.
He doesn't scream like a Dan Hurley guard.
Yeah, I like Liam McNeely too. I honestly don't mind this UConn team. They just don't play well together, and then on top of a coach that doesn't have any self-control, give me the Gators, man.
Yeah. Okay. I have Colorado State, Maryland. I think we all have Colorado State.
Yeah,
Maryland,
we all
if
do.
I'm not mistaken. We all have it. I think the Crab 5 prevails.
I agree.
Yep.
Hell yeah, go Terps.
Yep. Crab 5 prevails. We're going with Maryland. Nothing else to be said there. They just have the star power, and they have the star power in the coaching, which will be a future Big Ten matchup when Colorado State is eventually eliminated and Nico Medved goes to Minnesota. I have Drake, Texas Tech, Mizzou, Texas Tech. Okay, both.
I think I only have.
We have Drake.
Yeah.
Okay. Ethan. Let's see this one.
Are we all taking Texas Tech?
Yeah, I got JT Toppin and Texas Tech. I just
love
think
the Drake.
Like,
give me Drake in the Sweet 16. Give me Drake in the Sweet 16.
I love Drake, and I don't even have that.
I'm falling. I don't care if I'm falling for the trap again. I just think that
fell in love with him.
I just fell in love with them. Like
it's like a stripper. Stan. You fell in love with a stripper. It just isn't gonna happen.
It just isn't gonna happen. Yeah,
it's me and Creighton, by the way.
Yeah, 100%. I love this Drake team. Like, they have great wins against Power 5 schools. Power 5 teams that don't have head coaches are bending over backwards to get this man to be their head coach. Get this man, Ben McCollum, to be their head coach. And I know Indiana didn't hire him, and that's fine with me. They play at such a slow tempo, it's going to throw a bunch of teams off. And I know for years, Texas Tech has always been that grit and grind team. But this year, I didn't really see that. I didn't really see that much from them, and I just think that they haven't been healthy. Texas Tech hasn't been healthy all year, and the guards are going to have to score. And I know Chance McMillan's on 100%, and I know JT Toppin's there. I just love Ben McCollum. I'm loving the white shirt and the blue tie. I'm seeing Drake fans, the student section, just wearing white shirts and blue ties everywhere. If I fall for the trap, then so be it. I'll be the first to admit it. I love the Drake. I'm saying it for the second straight year. Drake to the Sweet 16.
This is like me with Nashville that one year. They were playing Colorado and they got swept. That's what this feels like.
This guy. This is when we first met. This is when we met Jake for the first time.
Oh, jeez. Dude, they lost 8-0.
Tim goes Nashville money line against the eventual Stanley Cup winning
Colorado
Avalanche.
Game one,
first round.
8-0 they lost. I took Nashville. That was tough.
Unreal.
Since we brought up hockey, Panarin 1-0 by the way. Just want to say,
beautiful.
Just want to put that out.
Beautiful. God, that's big.
I need you to lose so bad tonight. I was playing Pittsburgh right now.
Big. Last but not least, for the sweet round of 32, Kansas, St. John's. What are we?
I like St. John's so much, but this is a nightmare matchup in the second round for Rick Pitino. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I have St. John's, but I think this game is like whoever wins this game could go to the Final Four.
Okay,
this is an Elite Eight, Sweet 16 style matchup in the round of 32. Like, I mean, Kansas should be a higher seed, like I said, but I think St. John's has what it takes. I think they're battle tested, even though they're in the Big East, and I think this is the game that's going to propel them into an eventual Final Four run.
Okay.
A little bit of a flash forward.
Little spoiler there.
A little bit of spoiler.
Okay. Tim, who do you have here?
St. John's is the Rutgers of New York, Stan, so I just had to go with them. If it translates over, it translates over, and I got that Rutgers pride, so I'm taking St. John's here.
All right. I'm rolling with St. John's. Ever since the UConn game at Gamble, and before that game, I was like, I don't know, this is like a true test, and they go out and win. There was that Creighton game that was in the regular season that was kind of which really told whoever won that game, that team was going to run away with the Big East title no matter what. They win that game. I feel like every challenge that this St. John's team has gotten, they've delivered. Kansas is a hell of a challenge, but St. John's is going to prevail. I have them moving on to the Sweet 16 against Drake. Sorry. Oh, yeah, here we go. Florida, Maryland. We all have it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We all have Florida, Maryland.
Okay, a lot of points are going to be scored in that game. A lot.
I'm in on that. I'm in on points, and that probably favors Florida, which is why I have them beating Maryland. So give me points, give me Florida. Unfortunately, the Crab Five are just a year away from doing something really special.
You don't want to sound like Fran Fraschilla with that guy. Remember that?
Yeah.
2 years away from being 2 years away.
Yep.
That's the greatest.
I mean, Maryland's good. Maryland's good, but they're not Florida good. So give me the Gators.
I'm rolling with Florida as well. It's just I just feel like it's going to be too much for Reese and Queen to handle that those experienced big guys.
Yeah.
Then Tim.
Yeah, I hear what you guys are saying, but my boy did go to Maryland, so I'm just going to have to continue to roll with the Terps here. I have him moving on.
I would not be surprised if Maryland wins this game. And if they
I wouldn't be shocked either.
If Maryland wins this game,
they
will
real
be in the final.
Yeah,
I got to get this documented. If Maryland beats Florida, they're going to the final. Not the Final Four, the final. We're going to be in the national championship.
You might be onto something in my bracket already right there. So.
Woo, okay. Maybe a little bit of foreshadowing. Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't mind a nice ACC throwback. Duke, Maryland for the national championship. Wouldn't mind that. Speaking from a fan perspective.
They got to deal with Oregon, Stan.
But I feel like it's very obvious of who I'm taking in the East region. Next up,
Ducks,
Drake.
Oregon Ducks.
I have Drake and St. John's. Tim has Texas Tech St. John's. So as does Ethan. I'll get it out of the way. I think the Cinderella run ends here for Drake. Ben McCollum's a great coach, but Rick Pitino, he's inevitable. He is inevitable. I have St. John's going to the Elite Eight. Tim? Ethan, how about you start? Or
okay,
Tim?
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think you just cut out for a second. I didn't even hear you.
No, you're all
Ethan,
good.
go for it.
In your bracket, what a dream matchup that would be for St. John's. A cupcake game for St. John's after just having to play Bill Self and the Jayhawks. I got St. John's winning. I said whoever wins that Kansas/Arkansas St. John's game will be in the Final Four, or at least make it to the Elite Eight. So give me St. John's over Texas Tech. What a game that would be. I can already see it, so I have it in my bracket.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah,
Tim?
that pride again, Stan, that New York pride. I can't get rid of it. Making St. John's.
All right. Florida, St. John's.
You
Ethan,
I got Maryland St. John's.
Okay. My bad.
Ethan, I can see where it's going for you.
Yeah.
St. John's?
It's the Johnnies.
Okay. I got Florida. And as I mentioned before, with that what was it? Oh, with that stat with Michigan State, with the unranked to ranked, St. John's also falls under that criteria as well. I just think that, and it's proven. I mean, Purdue fell under that criteria in 2023. They lose to a 16 seed. Iowa State lost in the Sweet 16 last year. I just think that this Florida team's too much, and again, it's gonna come down to size. I mean, just the big man depth for Florida is just way too much, and I just think that the student beats the teacher. Clayton takes down Pitino. A revenge factor there.
That would be sick. That's another sick game. I mean, just total momentum, just like a lot of momentum in this West region. I'm so excited to see how this pans out. Easily my favorite region.
Tim?
Yeah, and that brings me to my point. I think if Maryland beats Florida, number 1 seed, that kind of gives them all the momentum going into this game, and it makes you play loose, easy. I have them winning. I have them beating St. John's. The New York pride runs out, and I think they're moving on.
Okay. All right. Let's go to the East. Let's just get it out of the way. Duke takes down whoever. I mean, whoever they play in the 16th seed.
Duke takes down
16th
whoever.
seed.
American, by the way. I have American in that matchup.
I think so too. Pacheco's out for Mount St. Mary's.
Correct.
I remember seeing a tweet saying that. So yes,
not Isaiah Pacheco.
Not the one that went to Rutgers. But yes. Let's go to the 8-9 game. Mississippi State taking on Baylor. I have Baylor.
Fuck Baylor.
Oh wow. Any reason why?
After they won that national championship, there's something for me. It flipped in my head. I know they were such a good defensive team, but I just do not like them. I also, again, I've been pulling this college football card. Mississippi State's got some nice college football jerseys, so I'm having them move on.
Oh my god, I have Baylor taking this one. There's a bit of a heartfelt aspect to it. Jeremy Roach, 4-year Duke player, transferred from Duke to Baylor. So there'll be a rematch there. I just think that with Mississippi State, I know they've gotten better offensively. Like the past 2 years under Chris Jans, they were very good defensively. Their offense was abysmal. And now they are good offensively, but abysmal defensively. And I think Baylor just has too many stars. Robert Wright and VJ Edgecombe are going to feast. And I know Josh Hubbard's an elite shot maker, but I just do not see this Mississippi State team winning a game. So I'm just going to roll with Baylor here. The coaching wins here with Scott Drew. But fun fact, though, Chris Jans is the last coach to beat Dan Hurley in the NCAA tournament when he was at New Mexico State in 2022. Knocked him out in the first round. Ethan, who do you have here?
I have the Baylor Bears and VJ Edgecombe.
Yes.
No, I really don't have much. I mean, Mississippi State has not impressed me. I kind of just feel like this one's going to go Baylor's way. This game will come down to last possession, no shot clock. I like Baylor.
Okay.
I like the team that has the more dominant player, the lottery pick. Give me VJ Edgecombe and the Baylor Bears.
Okay. Tim. Oh, who do you have here, Tim? Oh no, you said Mississippi State. Sorry.
Them jerseys,
Oregon
man.
Ducks.
Those jerseys are nice. Oh, this
Oregon
is easy,
Ducks.
Stan. This is
speaking
easy.
Speaking of jerseys,
best in college, best in all college sports, Stan.
Oregon taking on Liberty. This is somewhat of a little bit of a trendy one. I think we know who Tim's taking, considering the fact that he
Dan
is
Lanning behind the bench in basketball, dude. I'm sure he'd do a great job. That guy just does it all for them.
Don't doubt Dana. Don't doubt Dana Altman.
I was gonna say I think Oregon would much rather have Dana Altman than.
I would think they'd much rather have Dana Altman as well.
I don't think they signed him to that massive extension though, did they? Go Ducks.
He's gonna get one.
Go Ducks.
I have Oregon taking down Liberty. I just think that this Oregon team is just too much. Liberty. Their tallest guy is like 6'9", if I'm not mistaken.
They're very small.
Nate Biddle's gonna feast. Jackson Shellstad's the best guard on the floor. I don't think Dana's going to mess around here.
Those Mormon schools don't have that grit, Stan.
Especially with a team like Liberty. I'm going to roll with Oregon and rely on Dana Altman, which goes pretty well in the first round.
Yep, you guys said that pretty well. Not much to add. I got Oregon. This is a very popular side with a lot of upset potential, but give me Oregon.
Okay. Another old Pac-12 school, Arizona, taking on Akron. I'm going to start with this one. I have Arizona. It's the same reason why I took Oregon. It's because of size. Akron's not that big. Krivas, outstanding big man for Arizona. Trace Townsend's not really necessarily tall, but he's more so built, and I just don't think anyone on Akron can really handle that. And plus, they have the experience. I mean, there's Tobe Awaka, who was at Tennessee, went to an Elite Eight with them last year. My best friend in the whole world, Caleb Love. God, Love, yeah, I hate him, but like it or not, he has experience, so I'm just going to roll with Arizona here. Would it be a lot of points to be scored in that game, though? 167 was the total?
166. I have to piggyback off of this because this was one of the points I was going to make. I made one bet when I looked at the bracket, and it was the over in this game. This is going to be 92 to 79 points. Wow, I cannot wait to watch this game. Over 166.5. One of my favorite bets in the entire first round. Give me over.
Okay. Tim, who do you have here?
Said that.
Just a kid from no, I'm kidding. Arizona. I'm not taking Akron.
Yeah, Tim's a pretty big Braun guy, so I was kind of like,
I'm a Cavs fan. Of course I am.
Oh my God. All
Let's go,
right.
James.
Next up, BYU VCU. Ethan, who do you have here?
So the main storyline in this game I have is elevation. This game I also believe is going to be. Let me see when this game's being played. So this is a 4:05 Eastern time start. They're playing in Denver, Colorado. VCU's got to come all the way from Virginia. I do not like VCU. I know they're a very trendy and very popular dog. BYU got their hearts broken last year against Duquesne in a similar spot. I think the BYU Cougars are just on an upward trajectory. I expect them to be a 3-4 seed, maybe even a 2 seed if they end up winning the Big 12 next year. But give me the Cougars this year to avenge the heartbreak last year. I like BYU. They play in high elevation all season. VCU is just not going to be able to keep up with the Cougs.
Okay. Tim, who do you have here?
Yeah, I'm taking BYU. I maybe the Zach Wilson propaganda. That Chiefs game still lingers in my mind. That drive was fantastic. So I think I'm just thinking about that. And I'm taking BYU. Well, I know nothing about BYU, but let me ask: are they a team full of white shooters, or what is this roster consist?
Yes.
I figured a Mormon school up north. I figured.
Next year, no. I think they might actually let AJ DeBonsa have sex.
Oof,
without soaking.
That's how good AJ DeBonsa is. Just to think that BYU could have went on a run when they had Jimmer Fredette, and they didn't because their second best player got suspended for having premarital sex.
And they let Zach Wilson get away with it.
I mean, clearly, clearly they let him get away with it. But I have VCU. In the calendar year of 2025, they've only lost twice. They have great guards and great experience, which always goes well in the tournament. And they play to a similar style of Houston. We saw how BYU got knocked out in the Big 12 tournament, where BYU did not score a point until there was 13 minutes left in the first half. I believe it was 15-0 or something. And against a Houston team that, let's be honest, I know Kelvin Sampson's great, but Houston's not really known for their offense. So I'm going to roll with BYU. I'm sorry, VCU, not BYU. I'm going to roll with VCU. BYU, great offensively, but they struggle so bad defensively. So roll Rams. I'm praying for an A-10 team to make a run here. Next up, Wisconsin, Montana. I think we can all have a consensus hands in on Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Montana's a great story. Good for them. But no.
If you're starting with Montana's a great story, I think that answers our question right there.
There we go. Another tortoise in the hare like matchup. St. Mary's taking on Vanderbilt. St. Mary's swept Gonzaga in the regular season, but lost to them in the WCC final. They will be taking on Vanderbilt, who with first year and former JMU head coach Mark Byington. Yes. I'm going to get started. I have St. Mary's. I just think that it comes down to the coaching, and there's a very clear ceiling for this St. Mary's team. I don't see them going far, but the thing with Vanderbilt is that I get they have AJ Hoggard, who had experience going into the season, being at Michigan State, being coached by Tom Izzo. I'll be honest, they're a trendy team just because they're an SEC team and there's a brand to it. And they overachieved this season, honestly. They benefited from the SEC being good. If there weren't, I think they'd still make the tournament if there weren't 14 SEC teams in the tournament. But they just would not be a trendy pick. I just have St. Mary's just wearing this Vanderbilt team down. Ethan, who you got?
I have St. Mary. Now,
okay.
As much as I want to see Vanderbilt win this game and play against Alabama for all the SEC lore and all that, and Vanderbilt beat them in football. I know Tim, you like that, but yeah. I like St. Mary a lot. I really like their team. They're very good defensively, and I think that it sets up for a phenomenal game against Alabama in the second round, where you get another tortoise in the hare game and really test the Gales and see if they can stop an even higher paced offensive SEC team in the Crimson Tide. I like St. Mary in this first matchup. They have a sour taste in their mouth after losing the WCC final in Vegas. Give me the Gales.
Okay. Tim.
Cleveland blood runs thick. Darius Garland, Vanderbilt native. I'm just gonna take Vanderbilt here. That's like I know nothing about these teams. They got
Wouldn't
nice.
shock me.
Yeah, I mean those black
Wouldn't
pinstripe jerseys for the
necessarily
baseball
shock me.
team are nice too. That's always a good push for me. So I'm gonna take Vanderbilt here.
St. Francis down 5 going into halftime. Sorry, I'm feeling.
I unfortunately turned the Ranger game on, which now they're tied.
Now they're tied.
Thank God. No offense. So, I need to lose so badly.
This is all good. We all see that logo to your right. We get it. We get
it. Alabama, Robert Morris.
No,
I think we know.
140 points from Bama.
Maybe.
It's a possibility.
If Mark Sears plays the whole game, then probably.
Yeah.
I just love that Brandon Miller game.
Right, let's go.
Drops 50 after the gun
thing. Wrong place, wrong time. Wrong place, wrong time. Exactly.
Drop 50 on the court. It was okay.
Let's start off with the top for the region in the round of 32. I have Duke and Baylor. Tim is Duke and Mississippi State. Ethan is Duke and Baylor as well. Where do you have the Blue Devils going, Tim?
No, they're winning.
I know. Okay.
I'm not an idiot.
Okay.
No, I'm not a moron.
We all have Duke. I can assume that we all have Duke. Wait, Ethan, I forgot to ask. Like, are you a fan of any team, or are you just like
he's an Iowa State guy? Iowa State and Creighton.
You just love watching ball.
Like, I mean, obviously, I went to Penn State. So, well, not obviously. Okay, if you don't know, I went to Penn State. Right there. There's my Penn State.
There it is.
But I like Duke. I do. I like Cooper Flagg. So I have three futures. I'm gonna make you wait, all the viewers, until the end to hear my futures. I already hinted at Iowa State. I like Duke. I think it's a great matchup if they play Mississippi State or Baylor. I'm expecting Cooper Flagg to be back for this round of 32 matchup. Duke. Yes. Even if they don't have Cooper Flagg, you saw what they could do in the ACC tournament. Give me Duke.
All right. Oregon, Arizona, I believe we all have.
Cinema. Yes.
This is going to be awesome. This
great game.
This is going to be awesome.
Pac-12 rematch.
Yes. Let's start with Ethan. Who do you have here?
I have the Wildcats of Arizona.
Okay.
I think that, again, another toss-up game in this top half of the East region. I think whoever is going to be able to assert their dominance in the paint wins this game, and I think Arizona is going to be able to do it. I have Arizona. I know Dana Altman as well does well in tournament settings. Yeah, give me the Wildcats. Let's get wicked. Even though they're the lower seed, I expect this to be close to a pick'em with maybe a 1.5, 2 point favoritism towards Arizona. So give me Arizona.
All right, Tim. Who do you? I think we know what you're taking.
Let's go Ducks.
Okay. I'm gonna take Oregon. I kind of lost sleep over this matchup. My thing with Arizona is they're a very streaky team.
Mm-hmm.
They started the year off bad, and then they were able to get some wins, and then they started losing a lot in Big 12 play, which kind of lowered their ranking in the standings. I know they were in the final, but they were able to benefit from Texas Tech not making shots and not being healthy. They have not made an Elite Eight under Tommy Lloyd. And that is sort of where I'm like, I'm not too keen on Tommy Lloyd. I don't think that he would. I think he was a great hire for what they needed, but where he came from, I know Gonzaga's great, but they haven't gotten over that hump ever. I'm gonna roll with Dana. I just think Dana in March, and I just immediately I feel like that's the guy we need to be talking about. I know he hasn't won a championship, but Dana in March is just incredible. So I'm gonna roll with the Ducks here. Ethan, who do you got?
I'd say I got
Arizona.
Oh, you already said. Sorry, shit.
No,
sorry.
Good.
Oh my God. So you two have BYU, Wisconsin. I have VCU, Wisconsin. I think we can all wholeheartedly. I mean, if it's BYU, Wisconsin, there's going to be a lot of points. But I just
what a game!
That's going to be incredible. I have Wisconsin taking down VCU. John Tanji is an automatic bucket getter. Just it's going to be too much for VCU to handle.
Yep. Sorry, I just want to say historically one of the best teams at the free throw line, the charity stripe, as they say. Wisconsin.
Number one, free throws are free.
And like I said, historically they have one of the best. They almost broke the record for the regular season. I like Wisconsin a lot. I think this is a sleeper team.
Okay.
Yeah, free
okay.
throws
Tim,
killing March. Free throws killing March. I'm taking Wisconsin.
Yep. Next up, I believe we all have. No, Tim is Vanderbilt. Ethan and I have St. Mary's, Alabama. Tim is Vanderbilt, Alabama. Tim.
Bama.
Okay, fair.
I love the high scoring game, Stan. I just
yes.
if they can outscore their opponents if they get hot, really think about this. I know it's crazy, but if they could stay as hot as as we've seen them, call me crazy. They can make it a run. They can go on a run and they can just outscore teams all the way to the end.
Okay. I know the health of Grant Nelson is a bit of a question, and if he doesn't play this game, it's going to be a bit of a problem for Alabama, if you ask me, but I think that they'll be able to prevail.
I don't expect Grant Nelson to be back. He could make it back. I don't think they have a reason to rush it. I think Alabama has enough talent to beat St. Mary's without Grant Nelson. So, you'll give him the full week to recover instead of rushing it before an anticipated matchup with either the BYU Cougars, which, you can shoot, and Wisconsin, who can also shoot. So I don't think Grant Nelson will play in this matchup, but I still like Alabama. Roll Tide.
Okay. Let's go to the top. Duke, Arizona, Ethan has. Tim and I have Duke and Oregon. Ethan, who do you have here?
I just want to preface, I'm not trying to flex or anything, but I will be at these Sweet 16 games.
You lucky son of a bitch.
So, I mean,
I'm not trying to flex, just flexes on everyone.
Nah, I mean, it's
I
not
know,
really...
How does it feel to live my dream?
Well, you guys could easily go. It's not like I'm taking a plane to go.
I know.
But my bank account is very thin right now, and I believe it would cost more than my whole bank account to even go.
We need the Owls to win tonight, Stan. Then maybe we can go.
Yeah, Duke, Arizona. I know you guys have Duke, Oregon. I like Duke. I think I like Duke against Oregon or Arizona, or maybe they play a 13 or 14 seed. I know these teams can get hot. Liberty and Akron. Don't want to just totally discount those.
Yes.
Yeah, I got Duke. Simple as that. They're just if they're catching fire. They're winning their first 2 games. They're going to go on a run.
Y'all already know who I got. Tim.
I'm an Oregon fan. I'm still picking Duke. So.
Yep. Okay. This one's going to be fun. Wisconsin, Alabama. A lot of points to be had.
Roll Tide.
Taking Alabama,
Roll
Ethan.
Tide.
My money is on Alabama. My brain is on Wisconsin. I'm going to these games with an Alabama fan, so I can't not have some cheese on the Crimson Tide. So I'm kind of hedging my bets here. I picked Wisconsin because I think that they'll be able to slow down Alabama.
Yes.
Alabama, I anticipate to be incorporating Grant Nelson back into their scheme by the second weekend. I think they'll be discombobulated. We've seen Alabama break down at later part of games, and that's when Wisconsin can really grab a hold of a team. I like Wisconsin. I think this is going to be a nail-biter, potentially buzzer-beater game. I like the Badgers from the Big Ten.
You said exactly what I was going to say. Alabama just we've seen them kind of collapse, especially on their home floor as well when they played Auburn. I know they're kind of riding a high. I know the buzzer beater against Auburn happened. They won that game. They dominated Kentucky, and they did not have a contest against Florida at all. But I'm going to stick with Wisconsin. I just feel like they have something to play for. They have a sour taste in their mouth after losing that Big Ten game, and plus a little nostalgia. 2015 National Championship rematch, Duke, Wisconsin. And I think you all know who I have going to the Final Four in that East region. It'll be my Duke Blue Devils taking down Wisconsin. Ethan, who do you have?
Nothing really to say here. Once Duke catches fire, there's no stopping them.
Fair enough. Tim?
Like I said, if Bama can continue the pace they're at, and they like I've seen them play before. I don't watch much college basketball. I've seen them score 100 points. I mean, I know what they can do. I'm still going to take Duke, but like I said, if they could stay hot, don't be shocked if they go on a run.
Okay. So So Duke for you, but don't be surprised?
Don't be surprised.
Okay.
Bama's transitioning from a football school, dude. I'm telling you.
All right. Give them time. All right. Last but not least, Midwest region. We told you this is going to be a long one. Houston taking down Southern Illinois, Edwardsville. Yes. Gonzaga, Georgia. Ethan, let's start with you because I've seen a lot of people take Gonzaga, but Georgia had a pretty good year.
Georgia's a feisty team. They're very feisty. And I like the story. I like the Blue Cane. I like Blue Cane. Tim, if you don't know, Georgia, they have a player on their team. His name is Blue Cane. And all the home games, the student section, they all hold blue canes, like blue-colored canes in the crowd. It's just aura.
A wild name.
But when I looked at this spread and I saw that Gonzaga was favored by 7 points in an 8-9 matchup, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Give me Gonzaga. I'll probably take Georgia with the points, try and middle something there, get a bracket pick right, and get some spread. But I like Gonzaga. They have made 9 straight Sweet 16s. They're not losing in the first round, my man.
Fair enough, Tim.
Zaga's just an experienced program. I mean, I every year they're always putting on something. They're getting some sort of deep run in the tournament. Maybe not deep, but at least getting out of the first round. So I don't see that not happening this year.
All right. Next up, a former trendy pick last year. This year, I feel like they're trendy enough because of last year. Clemson McNeese. I think Clemson's going to be such a tough out to the point where. And I know, like, McNeese doesn't play well against athletic teams. And don't get me wrong, McNeese and Will Wade.
What does that even mean? They don't play well against athletic teams. Basketball.
Because here's the thing, though. Like, McNeese, they're very like havoc, slow you down team. Like, if a team that's like
sort of plays
at like a slow pace, it's going to be torture. I just think Clemson's the better offensive team. I know Dylan Hunter's out with a broken hand, but their defense is phenomenal. I think Ian Shefflin has the experience going to an Elite Eight last year. Same thing with Dylan's brother Chase. There's a lot of potential for this Clemson team to go far despite the Dylan Hunter injury. Love Clemson here. No shot at Will Wade whatsoever. I think he's a fantastic coach. I'm glad that he's hopefully going to get a Power 5 job towards the end of the season. Will Wade with the Power 5 job is very scary. He took those Nas Reed teams to the tournament a couple times, but I'm really liking Clemson here. Ethan, who do you have here?
Another team with a very sour taste in their mouth, almost completing a comeback against Louisville in the ACC semifinal. I really like Clemson. They made it to the, I believe, Elite Eight last year, if I'm not mistaken. At least the Sweet 16. Did. I like them a lot. And I know McNeese is a trendy pick. I will definitely be on Clemson on the spread in this game. I think it's just an absolute masterclass from the Tigers.
All right. Tim, who do you have?
Yeah, I saw some like bracketology thing. A lot of people have Clemson going on a run possibly, so I'm not going to bet against that. I'm just going to take them to get out of this game. It's McNeese. Okay. Dude, come on.
Another trendy upset pick here. Purdue taking on High Point. Tim, who do you have?
I have High Point winning.
Okay. I have High Point winning as well. And I know that Purdue had a very tough exit in the Big Ten tournament, getting blown out by Michigan. And, they've had time to rest and all this. If High Point's able to stop the pick and roll, there's not really much Purdue can do. And I know they're feeling the ramifications of losing Zach Edey to the NBA. They've lost some of their three-point shooting with Mason Gillis going to Duke. I just don't see it with Purdue right now. I don't. And Braden Smith has had a phenomenal jump from sophomore to senior. Trey Kaufman-Wren has had, or sophomore to junior, sorry. Trey Kaufman-Wren has had a phenomenal jump from last year to this year as well. There's just something in the back of my mind where I'm just like, it's Purdue. And it's Purdue. You never know. And I'm just going to roll with High Point. Rebounding is a big key here. High Point, I'm forgetting what the kid's name was, but he is one of the nation's leading rebounders as well. Look out for that. But yeah, I'm rolling with High Point here.
So both of you guys got High Point, huh?
Yeah.
Yes. I can imagine you're taking Purdue.
I can't get there. with High Point, but either of these teams lose to Clemson. That's all I got to say.
Yeah,
I like
that's kind of where I'm at too. So
yeah,
I like
just
Purdue,
one of those games.
It'd be a great matchup. To see maybe High Point against Clemson, that'd be cool. But yeah, I think Clemson wins that game regardless.
Yeah. Next up, Illinois taking on the winner of Texas and Xavier. I feel like let's get out of the way. I think Xavier will win tomorrow. 3-point shooting is going to be way too much.
I don't really have much to say about Texas Xavier because I hinted at it earlier. I think this 11 matchup is irrelevant. I honestly could not care who wins this game. I like Illinois. I like Illinois regardless. Illinois is a team that I've rode for quite some time. I actually took them to win the Big Ten. A very disappointing loss in the Big Ten tournament. They got dismantled.
Crap
But
five.
again, yeah, like Maryland, who got I mean, they lost by on a buzzer beater essentially. Another sour taste in their mouth. I like Illinois a lot. Hint, hint. I like Illinois.
Okay. Tim, who do you have here?
Shout out Jared Allen. Give me Texas. I mean,
Oh my
it was
God.
one of those things. I'm looking at this
For
game.
Illinois. Oh, you have Texas. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Shit. My mind was racing a bit.
Give me Texas.
Okay. Okay. Kentucky and Troy. This is. I mean, Troy's. It's going to be Kentucky despite the injuries. It all depends on. I wouldn't say it all depends on if Lamont Butler plays, but I just think that Kentucky's too offensively minded to lose to Troy. So I'm going to go with Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Yep. Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next up, the 7-10 game, UCLA Utah State. This game is my version of the meme hydrogen bomb versus coughing baby, because I believe UCLA, since joining the Big Ten, they've only won one game outside of the Pacific time zone, if I'm not mistaken, and that was on a buzzer beater against Northwestern.
Yeah.
Utah State, it's the Mountain West in the NCAA tournament. You know they're going to be terrible. I'm taking Utah State. I just think that this UCLA team is just so bleh. Like, I just don't know what it is. I know they're good defensively, but that game against Wisconsin, my God. Wisconsin hit like 12 threes in the first half alone.
Yeah. UCLA got crushed.
Yeah. And I think Utah State, they have a good story right now. And I know UCLA, there's that supposed rumor that Mick Cronin might be out the door going to Villanova, so who knows? But I'm really liking Utah State here. Another first-year head coach for Utah State might even take a high major job, so who knows? But I'm loving the Aggies. Ethan, I'm assuming you're going with the Aggies as well.
I do have the Aggies, and now I have a official lean, and I will be playing this after we get off. I like the under in this game. I think both teams are.
I hate betting unders, but I love it.
I am the king of unders. I will take an under before an over any day. I only like overs if I can see points, like in that Akron-Arizona game. I love the under in this game. It's a later game. It's a 9:25, so they're going to be hanging around all day waiting for this game.
This is on the East Coast, if I'm not mistaken.
I want to say this is the Midwest, so I want to say this is like somewhere like in Nashville, Kentucky, like somewhere around there. I don't think the time zone really matters. I just know it's later in the day.
It's going to be in Rupp.
Yeah. Okay. So that's in Kentucky, right?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, that's a massive arena, and teams like that they don't really get the best angle of the hoop. I'm writing down this under. I don't really care where it's at. I expect it to be around the 140s, maybe low 150s. No reason to check. I'm taking the number regardless of what it's at. I hope it's a higher, but this is going to be, like you said, a hydrogen bomb versus what do we got?
142.5 on FanDuel.
I love it.
Okay.
I don't care what number it is. It's low, but it's not low enough for me. I am a risky guy. Give me the under in that game.
Okay. Tim, who do you have here?
Took UCLA. They got a nice color scheme in their jerseys. I like the way the UCLA is written out. So taking UCLA.
Flames up 2-1, by the way.
Yeah, I saw that.
I also get down 2-0. Crosby just scored.
Oh, fuck. Yep. Sid, the 35-year-old kid.
Keep on giving
next up.
Just give up, Crosby.
Next up. Yeah, just give up. Tennessee, Wofford. Wofford struggled against all the high major opponents they played against this year. I think when they played Duke this year, and it was
they probably lost by 50.
Yeah, it was like one of those scores where you were like, holy shit. Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna roll with Tennessee here. Let's go to the top of the bracket. Let's just get the big one out of the way, because the fact that this game is in the round of 32 is insane. Houston, Gonzaga. This is where dreams are made of. The health of Jawan Roberts is going to play a pivotal role here, because if he's not playing for Houston, then this is the game for Graham EK to finally feast. Guard play is also a big thing. We have the former Baylor transfer, LJ Cryer, former national champion, looking to be the first player to win 2 national championships with 2 different teams. Then Ryan Nembhard, who was trying to get back to the Final Four since that Creighton-San Diego State game a couple years ago. I'm depending Jawan Roberts plays. I'm going with Houston. I just think that Houston just grinds out wins. They just grind out wins, and it's what they do. It's just what they do. It's what Kelvin Sampson does. That's just his identity. That's just what Houston does. So I'm going with the Cougs. Ethan, who do you have?
Houston just beats teams to a pulp, and they basically drag them in a back alley and just start bashing on their head.
Yeah.
If the referee says it's over and they're still going.
Like the poor 16 seed that has to play them. Like,
Southern Illinois University, Edwardsville. Shout out to them. I bet on them in their conference run. I went 3-0 on betting on Edwardsville. So shout out to them.
When they played
Edwardsville, that's crazy.
When they played against Longwood last year in the 116 game, first half team total under 16.5. And I was like, you know what? Fuck it. They had 11 at halftime. It was the easiest under bet I think I've ever had in my life.
I wish I knew you before then.
Yeah.
I wish I knew you then.
We could do it again with Edwardsville. We could do it again.
I can't fade them like that. They've done me so well. I don't want to bet on Houston, but I don't want to bet on Edwardsville, I have no interest in betting on a 116 matchup.
The value.
Fair enough.
Fair
enough.
But yeah, give me
Tim,
Houston. Give me Houston.
Tim, who do you have here?
Houston has just been one of those teams that's always floated around. Maybe it's their year. I feel like for the past few years, they've just been a top seed, and everyone thought maybe they'll get it done this year. I'm going to roll with them. I think, like you said, they beat teams to a pulp. They've done it for a while, so I'm just going to hope they keep things moving, and I'm going to take Houston here.
Okay. Tim and I have Clemson and High Point. Ethan sort of hinted at it already.
It doesn't matter.
He thinks Clemson's beating
we all
Purdue
know it's
no matter
be
what.
Clemson. It's Clemson.
I don't even think we need to speak about this.
We don't. Illinois, Kentucky. I'll say it right now. I have Illinois winning this game. And
Dang,
Ethan already hinted at Illinois winning this game as well, so I'm just kind of curious as to what Tim is going to do here.
I took Kentucky. I don't even have Illinois moving on, but that was...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Texas, right?
What
listen,
Yeah.
I saw Illinois at the Garden against when they played Duke, and then I saw them play Purdue the following week, and it was a completely different team. And I know the excuse of, well, the stomach bug. Apparently, like, the stomach bug was, like, floating around the Illinois locker room.
The whole season, too.
Like, the whole season, they've been dealing with shit like this. And I think it's finally time that they get rewarded. I think they move on to the second weekend and take down Kentucky, who's just riddled with injuries right now. No Jackson Robinson. We don't know what Lamont Butler is going to be, if he's going to be at 100%. So we'll see what happens, but I'm loving the Illini here. Tim, who do you have advancing?
Kentucky, because it was just first Texas. So, yeah, I mean, it doesn't...
Okay. Utah State, Tennessee. Ethan.
Another under. I love unders on this lower quadrant. Yeah, I like Tennessee. I really like Tennessee. I like their defense, best defense in the country, according to Ken Palm, number one. I like the Volunteers. They had a salty end of their season. Could have beaten Florida in the SEC championship. They were right there hanging in, and then Florida in the second half just beat them. But yeah, I mean, Utah State, cool. Like UCLA, Utah State, they're losing to Tennessee. So
yeah, I have to say I have UCLA losing to Tennessee. Tennessee's too much.
Yes. Okay. I have Tennessee winning that game as well. Hang on, I just got a FaceTime call and I have to tell that.
Oh,
sorry about that.
Look at Mr. Popular over here.
Yeah, sorry, man. Hang on. There we go. Yeah, I have Tennessee winning this game. Ethan mentioned before beating teams to a pulp. I think they're gonna exactly do that when they beat Utah State to a pulp. Sweet 16. We all have Houston, Clemson.
It's gonna be a hell of a game.
Okay, it's gonna be a hell of a game.
Houston's the better team.
Houston's the better team. I take Houston as well. It's a great story for Clemson. Outstanding story.
Go on a run, but they're no Houston.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Yes. I have Illinois, Tennessee. Tim has Kentucky, Tennessee. Ethan also has Illinois, Tennessee. Tim?
I have Tennessee moving on. But again, I don't even...
Give me the Illini. I'm feeling something from this Illinois team right now where it was almost just like, and we know Rick Barnes' track record in March, and I know that's like a main thing to say when talking about Tennessee, and I know they made the Elite Eight last year when no one had them in the Elite Eight, even if they were a 2 seed. But I'm just loving the way that this Illinois team has been playing as of late. I know the horrible blowout to Maryland says a lot, but there's a thing with Tennessee's offense where they just don't score. They're very stagnant. And I know Lanier has sort of stepped into that Dalton Connect role kind of well, but there were times this year where there was just a lid on the rim for Tennessee the entire time, no matter where, if they were at home or they were on the road. So I'm going to roll with Illinois in the offense here.
See, for me, this game is totally like yin and yang. Illinois can score, but their defense is shaky. And Tennessee can defend, but their offense is shaky. But Rocky Top, you'll always be home sweet home to me. Give me the Tennessee Volunteers over the Fighting Illini. I think this matchup is just way too much for Illinois. And I think Tennessee just beats them in an alley match. Give me the Vols.
Okay. I have Houston, Illinois. Ethan is Houston, Tennessee. Tim also is Houston, Tennessee, which is a dream matchup. I would love to see that. Like, that would be
sick
awesome.
Game. Sick
It'd be
game.
awesome.
Under again in that
Another
region.
under.
Another under.
For Houston, Illinois, I have Houston moving on.
So do I.
And yes.
We all do. We all do, I guess.
Yeah, I think
We all
Houston's
do.
one of those teams where they're just steamrolling their way
I
there.
think Kelvin Sampson finally gets... I know they made the Final Four during the COVID year with Quentin Grimes, but it just didn't really feel like the Houston that we see now. It just didn't feel like that at all. This is a completely different Houston team from 2021. 2022, they almost made it. They ran into Jay Wright. 2023, who do they run into? I believe they ran into Alabama, if I'm not mistaken.
The
2023.
brackets are just washed.
I know.
They're
just
just
in
all these teams.
They're just in and out. 2024, they had the Jamal Shed injury against Duke, and that kind of really screwed them. I think this time they finally get over the hump. Hopefully, Juwan Roberts will be healthy, but we'll see. We'll see what happens here. I have Houston moving on.
Yep.
All right, Final Four. Let's just shout them out so we say who our Final Four are, just so we could remember.
Yep.
I have Iowa State and Florida, and then Duke taking on Houston. I feel like this was the kind of year for chalk, because if people remember, 2008 was the last time and only time that all one seeds made the Final Four. And where was that Final Four in? You guessed it, San Antonio. Where's this year's? San Antonio. I have 3 1 seeds and a 3. Tim, who is your Final Four?
I believe it's Michigan State, Maryland, and Houston, Duke.
Okay. Ethan?
So we all have Houston Duke on the East versus Midwest side. I also have Michigan State, and then I have St. John's on the bottom in the West.
Okay.
So I have Michigan State versus St. John's and Duke versus Houston.
Okay. Let's start with Duke versus Houston.
Yep.
Rematch of last year's Sweet 16. You know who I'm going to take.
Yeah.
And it's just because they have the star power. They have the size. It's going to be if Juwan Roberts is fully healthy, it's going to be very interesting to see. It's a very interesting, it's almost like seeing two people that you want them to be friends, and you're just interested to see how their personalities mesh. I'm very interested to see what Houston's plan is for Cooper Flagg. I'm interested to see how Con Knipple is going to do guarding against Emmanuel Sharp. I'm interested in seeing how Kaman Malawach is going to be against Houston's big men if Roberts is healthy. I'm also interested to see if Malik Brown is healthy after dislocating his shoulder again. He wasn't on a sling. He was in a sling at the UNC game, but then he wasn't in a sling for the Louisville game. So I'm starting to think that his availability might be closer than we think. But I'm interested to see if Malik Brown plays, and who knows. You know who I'm going to take. Is it any,
We know you're taking Duke. We know you're taking Duke.
I'm going to say my spiel, but yeah, I have Duke going to the national championship. Tim, who do you have?
I thought about this game, and then the thing that always comes to mind is for March Madness, it always seems like the shoe-in favorite never really seems to get it done. And with the national media, Duke is the shoe-in favorite. They're covering them constantly. I know Cooper Flagg's got a lot of stigma around him. He's a great basketball player. But I think that gives Houston a little chip on their shoulder. I think we're a little undervalued here. I know they're a great team, and yeah, I'm not saying they're an underdog by any means, but just media-wise and attention-wise, Duke gets more of the attention. That gives Houston a little bit of a chip. And like I said, they've been flirting with getting it done. I think this might be a year they get a shot at it. So I got Houston moving on.
Okay. Ethan.
I think Houston win. I think Houston, Tennessee, they win if they play anyone else other than Duke.
Okay, wow.
It's just
okay.
it's just on, like, if they play Wisconsin, Arizona, Oregon, Alabama, if Houston or Tennessee has to play any of them, Houston's going to the final in their home state. But I got Cooper Flag and company. Hopefully he's back. I got Duke.
I would
in the
assume
final.
he would be.
I really hope so. I really.
I don't think a
need
sprained
him.
ankle keeps him out that long.
I really need
Dude.
him to win Player of the Year. Okay. So Duke. I have Duke. But if Houston/Tennessee, I have Houston. If either of those teams play any of the likes of Wisconsin, Alabama, I think that lower Midwest team that comes out of that region gets it done and goes to the final.
Okay, sticking with you, Ethan. You have Michigan State, St. John's at the top.
Mm-hmm.
How you feeling? Like what?
I got to stick with the Johnnies. I love.
You
Izzo.
want me to die? Because my nightmare was like
St. John's wins.
No, my nightmare was the preview show, like before, like when they do like the preview show, like a couple weeks before the actual bracket gets revealed, and it had a possible Duke St. John's Sweet 16 game at the Prudential Center, which is the only scenario on the planet where Duke gets like where there's going to be more St. John's fans than Duke fans.
Yeah.
That being in the national championship might kill me. Like that might like actually kill me. And there have been other scenarios that have killed me. For example, Duke UNC in the Final Four. That killed me. But wow. Okay.
I mean,
okay.
I said it before when we were going over the West region, aka the region of death. Whoever wins that Kansas/Arkansas St. John's game will face Florida or Maryland.
Yes.
And seriously give them a good shot. Like, I really like St. John's a lot. I like what I've seen. They do not miss inside in the like 3 points. Their issue. If they can hit the three ball consistently, like around like a 30, 35, 40, even 50% clip, like they don't shoot a lot of threes.
And that's the same thing with. It's the same thing with Michigan State too.
Yeah,
but the thing with
they're
Michigan
very
State
similar
is
teams.
They shoot so much. They shoot so many threes. St. John's kind of like knows where they are.
And St. John's boards better than Michigan State. I like St. John's a lot, and I think if they can get past Kansas, they're going to be a really hot team, and a team like Florida does not want to see the Johnnies. I got the Johnnies in the championship against the Duke Blue Devils.
Okay, Tim, who do you got?
I teased at it earlier.
Who do you have?
It's
up top?
Maryland, Michigan State.
Okay.
I teased.
Oh God, Big
What a
Ten
game.
shit.
Yeah, I teased at it earlier. I love Izzo and March, but I was going with Maryland because of my buddy. And the more I look, like, the more we talk about this team and how much they got with them. Like I said, you beat Florida, you ride that momentum all the way to the end. And I think if they get through this, they get through that Florida game. It's just all them all the way. You play loose, you play free, and I think they make it to the championship. Play against Houston.
Okay. Houston, Maryland for Tim. St. John's Duke for Ethan. Duke. Oh wait, I have to go. Sorry.
Jumping the gun here.
Sorry. Oh my God.
So excited to already announce Duke to win the national championship.
I mean, did you all even think? I mean, I didn't pick Duke
they
last
could have
year.
Been they could have been a fucking 16 seed, Stan. You'd be sitting here and be like, listen, this is why I think they have a shot this year. I think they really got a good coach there.
This is why I think they're going to beat Siena. This is why they're going to beat Siena.
You think they beat the fucking Lakers, dude?
All right. Iowa State, Florida. I think the offense prevails. I think Florida. They're the hottest team in the country right now. I mean, 1 and 2 are Florida and Colorado State. But I have Florida taking down Iowa State. I think the loss of Keyshawn Gilbert's going to loom large in this game. Just because of, and again, I've been saying it all the time with Florida. The reason why they're going to win this game is because of the big men. There's so many big men for Florida. It's going to be way too much for Iowa State to handle. I got the Gators taking on my Blue Devils in San Antonio on Monday night. So, Tim, Maryland, Houston. Ethan, St. John's, Houston. Florida, Houston for me.
St. John's
Duke. Sorry, St. John's Duke. Florida, Duke for me. Tim, let's start with you, because that Maryland-Houston matchup is very interesting, considering the fact that I feel Kevin Willard is a guy that likes to coach to his players' strength, but he can lock down defensively. And we saw that at Seton Hall a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I just listen.
And when he gets a star player, he's cooking.
Yeah,
we saw it with Miles Powell.
I know Houston's at the advantage here. It's in San Antonio, right? They're going to have a big crowd if they can. They're going to be a rowdy fan base there. But the Maryland momentum, I can keep alluding to it. You beat a 1 seed, it's just becomes easier for you to play basketball. Everything becomes easier. Think of it like in a playoff atmosphere in a series when an 8 seed takes down a 1 seed, like the LA Kings in 2012. I mean, they just steamrolled through the playoffs with that momentum through the first round. And I think that really is going to come into effect here. Maryland, when's the last time Maryland's won a national championship? They ever?
I mean, are we really just going to let that? Are we really going to let that 2012 mention just slide? Or, are we really going to let that go under the bed?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I had to. All right, let's just throw it out there. Listen, the Rangers are going to make the playoffs, and the Islanders aren't. All right, I got to get something going here.
All right.
But like I said, I'm taking
Maryland. Last time Maryland won the national championship was 2002, where they took down Indiana 64 to 52. I apologize. I believe that was Grievous Vasquez. He was leading that team.
Ball. I don't know. I'm not that deep in my bag. I wasn't even born yet. So.
That's a crazy ball.
NBA 2K13 legend. I believe that was Grievous Vasquez and Steve Blake.
Jeez, that's a throwback.
Yeah, there's a lot of throwbacks.
But I'm going to take Maryland. I know Houston will be at the advantage with almost like a home court field for them, but I'm running with Maryland's momentum. Give me the Terps.
All right, Ethan, Duke St. John's.
You're gonna be great.
We'll go with you last. I'm gonna.
Yeah, we don't know what you're gonna say, Ethan. We already know what this kid's gonna say right here.
I'll get it out of the way. If you didn't know, I have Duke winning this, and
you had Duke winning in February, dude. You had Duke winning in December.
I had Duke winning in August. Let's all be honest here. I think this is the most fun I've had watching a Duke team ever. In ranks of fun, like 2019 Zion, 2021 Paolo Banchero, Coach K's last year, this team takes the cake for the most fun I've ever had watching a Duke team. This team is just so complete. They have the depth. They have the defense. They have great freshmen. But on top of that, they have the great experience. Sion James has been incredible all year. Ever since John Shire inserted him into that starting point guard role, he's been phenomenal. Malik Brown, I know he's hurt right now. His defense is incredible. He got some ACC Defensive Player of the Year votes from coming off the bench. Tyrese Proctor. And now I know I've been on this guy's case for a while, just because of his postseason numbers and me calling him Aaron Judge during the Duke-UNC game in the ACC tournament on Friday. But however, when the going gets tough, he always finds a way to step up. It may not show on the stat sheet, but he always steps up. And of course, we have Cooper Flagg and Continental. Like, my God. 2 of the best freshmen in the country. Like, the fact that scouts are like so low on Continental right now, ridiculous. He's going to be a steal for someone. Just because he doesn't look like he's athletic, he can shoot the lights out of any building. And speaking of shooting the lights out, Isaiah Evans. When your scouting report is all you need is one, you're going to get drafted in the first round pretty easily. And he's coming off the bench. He's coming off the bench too. Malawach has been somewhat incredible if he's not in foul trouble. Pat Gongba has been incredible in the absence of Malik Brown. I'm loving this Duke team. I think this is the only team that can really handle Florida's big men, and I think that our guards are more than capable of handling Walter Clayton and Elijah Martin. I'm loving Duke right now. I'm loving Duke. I was going to whip out the flag, but I'm not going to.
The Cooper flag.
Give me the Blue Devils. Give me the Blue Devils to win 6. That's all I need. Win 6. Make me happy so I can have a nice champagne shower right over here. I can't wait.
Yeah, right in Siena, New York.
Loudonville, New York. Siena is not a town.
Whatever.
All right. Ethan, Duke, St. John's. I know that's a tough act to follow. I apologize. I just got like really.
I don't know what else more I have to say about Duke than you just did. I got Duke. I think that this loss for St. John's is going to be very powerful. I think it's going to make them even better next season. But yeah, I have Duke. And I do want to I keep all the viewers waiting. I said that I have a few futures, so I want to just say those before, because we've been on for 2 hours. This has been incredible.
Yes,
Thank you guys for,
this
thank you
is
guys for
awesome.
having me.
Thanks for coming.
Of course, but bracketology, it takes a lot of patience. So
March only comes around once.
so on the East Midwest side, when we had Duke and Houston, I only have one future on that side, and I have 3 on the other side.
Oh shit!
So I'll start with the 3. I have Iowa State, like I said, 22-1. If they get past Michigan State, like maybe they draw a Creighton or Texas A&M. I thought they were a lot better than they were. I had this future before they had the heartbreaking loss to Arizona. Shout out Caleb Love. Absolutely broke my heart. So Iowa State, 22-1, my biggest long shot future. Second future, that's a lie. I have St. John's at 25-1. I have I have a ticket. I don't want to show it because I don't want anyone stealing it.
Bad luck.
That's true. Yes.
So, but I have St. John's.
We believe you.
I have St. John's at 25-1. That's my biggest long shot. Then I have Iowa State. My third one, which I am very, very proud of, is Florida at 11-1. They are now they are now 4-1.
Wow.
Way to get it at value. Way to get it at value.
Why did you put that down?
I can check. I could check right now for you. And my last one is Duke. I have Duke at almost 4-1. They're almost down to 2.5-1. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough to see one of my teams lose early that I have a future on, but it's all for the fun of the game. I highly suggest, if you don't have a future, look through the bracket, pick a team that I'm interested in taking a future on. Wisconsin, if they could be Duke, they could probably win. Free throws matter in March, but when I placed this Florida wager, it was after they lost to Georgia. It was February 18th, so I've had this for exactly a month.
Okay.
And plus 1,000, so pretty nice return. They're sitting around 4 or 5-1 right now, so happy about that one. And if they play St. John's, I have a 10-1 and a 25-1 in the Final Four, and I can work off that.
Okay.
So happy about that.
So, hey, if you have any bets, let us know. We'll post them. We'll post them everywhere. Do know, because it seems like you have a very good grip on it, and I'm trusting you with every ounce of my body, which can be a good thing.
I'm gonna need these. I'm gonna need a whole list. I need a whole breakdown.
It can also be a bad thing too. So who knows? But this is what makes this month so great. Like the fact that there's a bracket in front of my face in the month of March. Like there's no better feeling in the world, and it's incredible. There's a reason why they say this is March. Like oh God, gotta love March. Gotta love it.
Just
Ethan,
to recap, though, if you guys, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off your outro.
Go for it.
The 2 round 1 games that I have don't have any sides, money line, or spreads yet, but I have the over in that Akron Arizona game. Points. Probably even ladder that. Maybe take like an over 170, just cause.
Okay.
And then I have the under in that Utah State UCLA game. That is going to be I'm going to say it right now. It's going to be the lowest scoring game in the first round.
That game's going to be gross. So I kind of
disgusting.
Yeah.
There might be 40 points at half.
Jeez. Who the fuck wants to watch that?
No one from UCLA or no one that didn't go to those schools is watching that game. Maybe
I don't think
USC fans for hate watching.
That honestly could be true. Alabama State just mounted a comeback, and now they're kind of turning it over everywhere. Oh God.
Mm-hmm. We'll see how that pans out.
We'll see how that pans out. Ethan, I feel like we're just gonna get the whole family on at one point. Like I just feel
have a whole reunion. Get everyone on here.
We've gotten Avery. We've had Jake numerous times. We've had you.
Hockey playoffs are rolling around, dude.
Hockey playoffs are rolling around. Like you never know. We're gonna have Jake on for that. I mean, do you have like a long lost cousin that is like somehow
not that I know of. I mean, Avery is probably next on your list. We can reach out to him and see if he wants to hop on.
We've had him on before.
We've had him.
There you go.
Ranger playoff.
Shout out the Blue Crew. Yeah.
Oh yeah, shout out the Blue Crew. Love the can't talk. Love the Blue Crew. Ethan, we thank you for coming on. just a great
this was
2-hour
awesome,
college
man. Thank
basketball
you.
conversation, which, you know, I could kill for in the middle of July, no matter what. But the fact that we get it in March makes it even more special. So, Ethan, we thank you for coming on. And as always, this is March. This is March, baby. This is March, and I can't wait.
Yes, thank you
Cannot
guys. Appreciate it.
Yep.